Hey everybody, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is ReadySetCrypto. I am Doc. I'm talking to Mav here. We're going to be with you for the next half hour. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of October, and we are live today. We will be taking your questions. We'll be talking about crypto topics, and we're going to be looking at TA and so forth. So in the meantime, welcome aboard. If you could, as you check in, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that already, please. But tell us where you're coming in from today, and we'll get started here in just, what did they say? 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, something like that. All right. Welcome aboard, folks. Check in, thumbs up, and we'll get started here soon. What's happening in your world, Mav? What's going on?
Hey. How we doing? Yes, it is. I don't know, not too much is going on in crypto markets. It's pretty boring, honestly. But at the same time, I think we're just kind of watching the macro. As we talked about in the newsletter yesterday, this is CPI week, so just kind of watching those indicators and seeing where it's going to take things, and hopefully, we can finish out the year a little bit more exciting than has been the majority of it so far. But not too much.
I was anticipating a huge reaction from the PPI as well as the Fed minutes today. Nothing.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's the fact that over the last 2 weeks, the Fed has scheduled 30 individual speaking sessions. So the most dangerous place to be in the United States of America over the last 2 weeks was between a Fed speaker and a microphone. So apparently the minutes didn't offer anything new, so the market just did not move. Let's see who we got. We got Buckhorn coming in from Little Rock, Arkansas. We got Zachariah coming in from Morocco. And the Crypto Bureau is coming in from the Gold Coast in Australia. Andy, how you doing, Andy? Good to see you. Let's see. All right, we're getting tickers coming in here. People, and it's been a long time, but we do have Barry Digibyte checking in. Outstanding. Good to see you again. Let's see. Aubrey from Montreal, Canada. We have Brian coming in from New York. And we have Ozfrog from Adelaide. All right. Outstanding. So don't forget to get those tickers in while Mav's doing his thing, and we'll get you out of here in no time at all.
All right. We'll do a little bit of a lightning round here. I will try my best to keep this about 2 minutes or so. So first off, just looking at the performance across the market, it's wishy-washy, especially over the last 7 days. And we could see it doing better, but no surprise here, or nothing that surprising, I suppose. But what I want to talk about today is there's this notion that, hey, this is maybe a good time to get into altcoins if the market is going to turn around, or we're going to have an exciting end of the year, or something to that effect, or maybe it's going to tank, or wherever it goes. This is a historical snapshot from the exact bottom of the last bear market. And what's important, especially if you look at the prices here, and also what consists of the top 100 of the time, is that if you flash forward to the most recent bull market we went through, about 95% of these altcoins did not do better than if you had just bought, let's say you had perfect clairvoyant insight and you bought the exact bottom as it relates to any of these. Let's say you got into Bitcoin and versus any of those. You would not have beat Bitcoin just holding that to the 2021 highs. That is sort of the lesson here, is that even when it comes to just about anything that you're seeing here versus big dog Bitcoin, you're most of the time going to be better off just consistently buying into that. Pretty much the golden strategy for those who've been around, the markets and who have, not operating by those degenerate sort of morals and standards, is just to get into Bitcoin, just to hold it through. It just always breaks out first. And when it does, and when we see it, right into the highs, that's when you cycle into the new sort of alts that are dominating the space. So if we flash forward to today, that's anything that's competing with Ethereum, anything that maybe is touching, I don't know, something like metaverse or NFTs, that sort of stuff, the stuff that is soaking up the news cycles, that is quote unquote the next big thing that's going to be leading the markets in, whatever is the next bull cycle. But until that happens, and what's going to predicate first is Bitcoin. It's going to do what it's going to do. It's the leader. It's the thing you have to watch first, do its thing, because at that point, that's sort of the golden opportunity to cycle into those alts that, again, are more risky, but also provide better short-term returns, especially in a bullish environment. So very simple lesson, hopefully, that you take to heart here, because it is so important that you're not bag holding or buying the dip on alts that are never going to come back. Especially if we look back at that snapshot, a lot of those alts are not hanging around anymore. Like I saw a quote the other day of like, I bought, what was it, like IOTA back in 2018 at $1, and I sold it in 2022 for $1.01. Ask me anything. Like, great that you didn't lose money, but you didn't make a whole lot of money either. I think, especially in times like these where the market future is uncertain, one of the things you can be certain about is that probably Bitcoin's going to stick around, especially when we're talking about upcoming regulatory changes and the landscape sort of changing and what's going to dominate the news cycle going forward. Bitcoin's probably going to stick around. Ethereum too, but it's for the majority of altcoins, probably not. It's probably a much riskier play, especially when we have a lot of uncertainty in the markets right now. So that's the lesson. Hopefully it's it sticks with you. And yeah, just I would say as the market is doing things that we're not sure where it's going to be going, it's as Doc was talking about, like, it's not reacting in ways that historically it does to things like the Fed minutes. That is where you want to be risk off, especially when it relates to alternative asset classes like Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. So, Doc, over to you. What is your take on what's going on in the markets right now? What's your feeling on things as what's going on?
Well, this is actually it's funny because in crypto we've been through just a couple of bear markets in just the last few years. I mean, this is our second bear market since the very beginning of 2018. It seems like it spends more time in corrective bear markets than it does actually ripping to the upside. But when it rips, it's like, you got to be on board. So it's one of those where it's like, it pays to, duration over direction kind of thing. So, but with the larger financial markets now, this is the second bear since the 0709 thing. So we've had a lot of corrections and a lot of nasty, even the pandemic move was just more of a correction than anything else. So this is really serious, and this is affecting trillions of dollars of moolah that's out there. So this is probably the most important chart right now. This is the dollar index, and it affects everything. As long as this is going higher right now, it's putting pressure on everything else. As we've talked about, like, say you've got your crypto out there and you want to go long on some crypto versus USD, or even if it's Tether or anything like that. Basically what you're doing is you're going long the crypto, you're going short the dollar. Well, when the dollar index is going like this, you're destroying any chance for this thing to move higher in value. So this is putting the kibosh on just about any asset that's out there. And frankly, for some of the assets out there like Bitcoin, which has been going sideways during this time while the dollar's been ripping, this is actually relatively good strength because it's building up a lot of energy during this time. This is setting up a really strong base if it decides to break out from here, if it decides to break out. But the way I'm looking at this thing is if it does not break out, then it's going to slide down this level pretty quickly down to about 12,000. So that's where I see the next level of support from here. So I'm not saying that's going to do it. If it does lose this level, though, it's almost like it's holding on by the fingertips. It will head down to this level here because there is no visible means of support through price action like that. So if it does get down to there, though, the good news is it's unlikely to go much down before there. It'll probably stay in a very large range for some time to come. But I tell you what, guys, like the overall markets right now are so negative. I have never seen things so negative right now, and they may have nowhere to go. They may have run out of bears at this point. So we may get a relief rally. And if we do get a relief rally, I'm looking for somewhere between 26 and 28 to set up here. So this is going to be, we're going to see tradable swings in this market, regardless of where it goes. And that's all you should care about. So with that, I'm going to go over to some of the assets you guys have asked to look at, and we'll take a look at these here. So we're going to look at, if I get the right category here, let's look at HBAR. Okay, so this one on a weekly chart. So this one's still setting up a base. Still setting up a base. I would not be looking to go long on this one until it proves to me that it can get above. It's about 8 cents or so versus that's on Bybit. I don't know if any other exchange looks different. Starting to see some good volume here. That is good. That's a good sign. The next one is XRP. We've been watching this one pretty carefully. We have an entry at 41. We have our stop set at 43. This one's doing a really nice job and staying on this volume profile, high volume node right there. If it's able to get above and beyond out of there, the next resistance is about 60 cents. So that would be the next target. And any drop down below 41 means this is it's a breakout failure. So can XRP actually operate on its own? That I don't know. This will be the first time since I've been watching this asset in 2017 that it's actually shown some really good strength. QNT, let's see, QNT versus Tether on Binance. This is a really nice looking chart. I like this a lot. And you can see the fractal patterns in here. This is a weekly swing. If we go out to the weekly chart, this is where we can see this weekly swing and transition to an uptrend. So this is kind of the same thing I've been telling you guys to look for. I like this a lot. If we look at this in Heikin Ashi, we can start to see all these green candles showing up on the weekly chart. And this is what you should be looking for. Invest in assets that are going higher in price right now. So I like this one very much. As we sit right now, should you chase after it at this point? Let's see. This is a nice little flag setting up. Let's go out to the weekly chart. How's the weekly? The weekly energies are fine, especially if it takes a breakout above 160. This is an awesome pattern. The other thing I like is this is an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which it's just now breaking out of. So this is it looks tremendous. This is one of the better charts I've seen. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. This is QNT. All right. Awesome. Really nice looking chart there. Let's get rid of the Heikin Ashi for now, but looks good. Looks good. Okay, next up is IOTA. Been a while since I've looked at IOTA, and this one is like the other assets that we look at. Just setting up a base right now. Setting up a horizontal base, I would wait until this gets above about 37 cents before I want to. It's just, you can see, it's just trading within a range here. Let it trade within a range. Let it go crazy. Wait till you get the breakout on good volume above 37 cents. Okay, next is XLM, the old Stellar. Let's see how Stellar's doing. Stellar's in a base. I want to see this break about 14 cents before I get long on Stellar. Okay. So let's see. Okay, we got some other ones coming in here. XDC. Oh, this one looks pretty good. All right, this is just kind of a big kind of a big ugly base. I still would prefer to stay out of this one until it gets above 3.8 cents. 3.8 cents. Break out of this range. There's no point in getting the very bottom of this thing. Wait until it starts to rip. If it starts to rip, like what we saw with QNT, it doesn't really matter where you get in. So this one has potential, but it's got to get above this level here. Okay, let's see. We had some other ones that came in. We'll go over these briefly. Let's see. INJ. INJ versus Tether. Let's see how this one is doing. What do you think I'm going to say here? It's in a base. Got to get above 2.5. Got to get above 2.5. Let's go look at ADA Cardano. Cardano is not looking so good right now. It's actually slipped into a new low. And on the weekly chart, this looks really, really bad. I don't like Cardano at all right now. This is going to take it quite some time to fix itself. So that's even on a monthly chart looking terrible, actually. So remember, that's not a rejection of you and who you are. That is merely my opinion on what I see in the price action for this asset right now. Not looking good for Cardano, one of the former superstars. In fact, this was doing oh so well just recently, about a year ago, and has just fallen upon hard times. Okay, let's see. The next one is Algo. Let's look at Algorand. Can you tell that this is my third live streaming session for today? I'm starting to croak here. All right, so Algorand, I'm looking for about a 40-cent breakout before it gets out of this base. So I would wait until it gets out of this base first. Let's see, Glimmer, GLMR. This one is hard to chart just because it's got all this distortion over here. And I think you can see that this is still in a base. I would not be in a hurry to get into this one, quite honestly. The trend is just not there. Okay, so Atom, which is Cosmos. Cosmos has been doing okay, but I'm not sure if it's going to hold this trend. So if you look at this on a larger time frame scale, this is just a weekly pullback. It's just a weekly pullback, and it looks like it's failing right now. So what I have to see from this is that it prints a higher low and then drives off of there. So right now it's in the midst of a weekly pullback, and this could be, part of a move like this. This would be the most normal and natural thing would be for it to fail at this point. So I'd say be very careful with Cosmos at this point. Okay, let's see, Near Protocol. We have Near Protocol is kind of the same thing right now. It looks like it's breaking down from a bear flag on the weekly chart, and this does not look good. So this is in a base, but I don't like where it's going with Near Protocol. Let's see, we did go over IOTA. M Hunt. Let's look at M Hunt. All right, got a few more to go, and then we'll wrap up for tonight. M Hunt is not heading in the right direction right now. This is a weekly chart, and this is all pointing down. I would be very careful about continuing to hold on this one. Certainly, this is no place to buy. EWT. EWT, interesting. This is broken out of a base, but it hasn't gone anywhere. So what I would look for on this guy is, and I'm going to steal this trend line. What I would do is I would look for this to break above this trend line. Break above the trend line, and maybe it's going to go somewhere. I'd also like to see some volume. Look at the volume here. Look what a difference it made on this volume. It was really getting somewhere for a short period of time, but it's tailed off since then, and that tells me that's kind of the whack-a-mole routine. For most coins, when we're in a bear market, if anything has the temerity to break out, it gets pummeled by the bears. Okay. Somebody was talking about gold and silver. So let's look at, I'm going to go over to stocks and we'll just look at GLD. We'll just look at the gold trust here. GLD, this one is, I have no clue what's going on with this. I thought precious metals were an inflation hedge, yes, like everybody else. But gold is one of the most frustrating markets to ever trade, whether it's swing trading or whether you're looking to do this intraday. I tried to trade gold futures intraday. It was impossible to do that. I don't know what it is about gold, but it's like it more so than any other asset that I've ever seen, it will fade the obvious move. And silver is pretty much in the same place. If you just look at SLV, it's pretty much in the same place. Like, what is going on here? I mean, you would think that this would be a storehouse of value, but the market is laughing at your impeccable linear logic and continuing to sell down on an asset that should be doing much, much better than this. So you got me. I don't know why these things are not ripping to the upside right now. Okay, CSPR, Casper. Let's see where that is. I'm sure somebody has an answer to that. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Okay. Again, this is one of these tough assets where I can't really chart this thing at all. Casper Labs. Let's try Tether. Okay, there we go. That's better. Again, looking at this, guys, if we're on a weekly chart, it is trying to set up a base. It's trying desperately to set up a base down here. But I would say you got to prove it, and this has got to trade above 4 cents or so, 4 or 4.5 cents for this to make it worth it. And it's got to come on decent volume. Okay, let's just do a couple more. Magic. Let's just do a couple more. As the old voice is starting to abandon me here. Magic, I would look for a breakout above $1. I would not chase it down here. So I'm going to do these really fast right now. Solana, let's look at Solana. I don't think we've done that one yet. Solana's not doing it right now. Solana's going to get above 48. Actually, the first thing would be 40. If it breaks above 40, it's got half a chance, and then if it breaks above 48. But right now, I would say avoid. Nulls, my God, I haven't looked at nulls in like forever. And that's probably why. So nulls is setting up a base. Avoid nulls unless it breaks above 29 on good volume. All right, COTI. Kind of the same thing. We're seeing a lot of the assets that have the same kind of thing here. And I would say 13.5 cents on the breakout would be your level on that one. VLX versus Tether. What's going on here? Absolutely nothing. This thing is all over the map. It's very illiquid, so this is why you're going to get moves like this. So I don't trust this one until it starts to trend and trade better. It's very illiquid right now. Okay, SOL, no bueno. Okay, this is the last one I'll do for tonight. NWC, News Crypto versus Tether. Okay, so this one was setting up a base. Here's an example of a breakout failure. This one was setting up a base, and came in with good volume. And this is your classic whack-a-mole move. Like, bam, here's your big mallet, right? Here's your big mallet setting up, boom, on this thing, straight back down. This is a breakout failure. I would say avoid this thing until it's able to trade above 18 cents again. So if I could give you guys one piece of advice, it is to trade assets that are going higher in price. They will, probably the best chart for today that we saw was QNT versus Tether. This one is exceptional for the state of the market right now. Looking really, really good. And also on the weekly chart is starting to transition into higher highs and higher lows with an inverted head and shoulders pattern. I like that one a lot. So with that, all right, we are finished with our regularly scheduled program here. Are there any questions that came in, Mav, that were directed at you? Anything, any final words of wisdom for us?
I didn't see anything too direct, but yeah, I think it just the takeaway from today is that yes, this is a very quiet market right now, but this is a time of opportunity. So long as you're not misreading it as a, hey, let's, go crazy into altcoins right now. That's usually not how the market turns around with alts leading. It's usually more the case that we'll see some breakouts in the large caps, especially Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then maybe it will transition towards the smaller caps. But yeah, I think what we're probably going to want to watch for is just what's going on with the larger markets, especially as we're heading towards the end of the year. And yeah, just some of the macro conditions, certainly fears of recession and things of that nature are prevalent right now. So it's going to be a messy market for a while. And I think, that just should be forefront of anyone's investing strategy going forward. But regardless, I think it's something that those with a long-term time horizon and properly balanced risk appetite, I think can come out of this very well. But yeah, just play your cards right and continue to just stay rational, as best you can. But yeah, I think it's it's unfortunate that the market's not something super hot right now or something very, very interesting, but this is a time of opportunity for those who can be patient. So that's all I've got to say for today. But as always, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for continuing to be a part of this community. As always, we have links down in the bio below for our other communities and chat rooms and places that you can get resources for free. We want to make sure that as we end out this year, that you're beginning to be as best as informed and as capable as possible. So no matter where the market goes, you're able to meet it more than halfway. So that's all for me. Doc, you got anything else?
No, I would say for people wanting to know whether the bottom is in, I have no clue, right? And if somebody does say with any kind of definitive answer that they know that the bottom is in or is not in, quite honestly, I think that they're full of it, because nobody knows what the bottoms are. An event during a bear market, right? So we tend to get very spiky down near the bottom, and I don't know that we've really capitulated yet when it comes to that. And right now the problem is that crypto is tied at the hip with other risk instruments. So 4 years ago, when we were going through the same crap, it was not aligned with the other risk assets at all. It had no correlation to the dollar or anything like that. There was nothing. Crypto was on its own because nobody was tying into that. Now they are. Crypto is viewed as a risk instrument that is now being traded institutionally. So it's being put in the same bucket, whether or not you like it or not. So we've got to have the equities and the risk markets bottom out first before we have crypto do the same thing. The same exact thing happened in 2020. When the equities markets lifted off, so did crypto. So that's kind of your answer, is watch all of the markets. The dollar, as long as the dollar is going higher, nothing's going to go anywhere. The dollar's got to reverse. To some degree, we don't want the dollar to crash, but so I don't know. But watch the larger markets for the answer to that. So it will happen in time. All right, thanks everybody. Don't forget to check out our free materials as well too. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you know when we're on next. And we want to thank you guys for once again joining us and contributing to a great discussion, great questions, super charts to look at, and this helps everybody too. So thanks everybody. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Yes?
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye now. See you guys.